Let's get straight to the chase. I never sleep. I live off of caffeine.
Should be enough coffee. Yeah, okay.
And I handle stress by screaming into my pillow and crying uncontrollably at night. Hi, I'm Kristen. Welcome to my channel. I'm a full-time accountant and auditor, and I have a passion for anything personal finance related or business related. If there's one thing that I've learned, it's you really do have to start a side business or side hustle, whatever you want to call it. In the past couple of years, since 2020, I've started 4 side businesses. People might just tell you, oh, it's easy, just start. But if you're anything like me, it's going to take a little bit more than just jumping in feet first. And you know what I'm talking about. How to start a side business while you're working full-time. I was just kidding earlier, well, I was kind of just kidding earlier about, not sleeping ever again and living off of caffeine. But for the most part, it shouldn't be like that. Burnout is real. And being successful is being consistent, not running yourself into the ground. There's definitely a balance between working full-time, having a side business, and then doing all the other things that you need to be doing during the day.
Hi, buddy. Hi.
Once you get all of these tips down, you'll probably have a better sense of how to manage your full-time job while starting a side business. Let's get into these tips. Tip number 1, and it's knowing your why. Simon Sinek wrote the book, Finding Your Why, the compelling higher purpose that drives everything you do. What is your why? What is the reason you get up in the morning? What is the reason why you want to start this business? If it's just for the money, that's not going to keep you going during the hard times. And trust me, they do get tough. That just comes with the process. So for me and my background, I'm an auditor for my full-time job, and I travel for work. On a Friday in 2020, I got an email, and my whole world was just completely changed overnight. Starting that next Monday, I was no longer traveling, and a significant part of my income was cut. So not only did I have financial reasons why I needed to start a side business, I also had a why for wanting to help other businesses know their finances from the inside out. What is your why? Tell me down in the comments below. I'm really curious. I moved my ring light off to the side, so hopefully I don't get that annoying glare. I hate that, honestly, in videos. It's so annoying. This next topic I think is really important, and it's something you might not be aware of. So because you're working full-time, this is a cover your kind of a tip, and that is to get permission. Get permission? What do you mean get permission? Yeah, I know. I hate asking for permission too. I'm the kind of person where I'd rather beg for forgiveness than ask for permission. You're really going to want to protect yourself and make sure that you're not setting yourself up to get fired or get let go or have any kind of retaliation. So you have to make sure that you're following your company's policies. And I have to make sure that anything that I do outside of my full-time job, I do not have a conflict of interest. I'm not in violation of ethics. And that's just something that goes along with the territory. You may not like it, but cover yourself. You make sure that you are contacting your HR representative or looking at your HR policies or looking at your employee handbook to make sure that you're doing everything that you're supposed to do before you even get started. That's all I'm going to say for that tip. This is one of my favorite tips. Tip number 4, brainstorming ideas. And honestly, once you start your first side business, all of a sudden, the doors just open wide to you and everything you could possibly think of could be a side business. Chances are, if you're watching this video, you already have an idea of what you want to do. If you don't, here are some high-level tips. So there's 2 kinds of businesses. There is a product-based business and there's a service-based business. So in this video, let's go the path of least resistance. Start the easiest kind of business out there, and that's a service-based business. The definition of a service-based business is performing tasks for your customers versus a product-based business is pretty self-explanatory. You're creating products to sell. Starting a service-based business is extremely easy and you really don't have to do much of anything to start. Start with what you know. What do you already know what to do? What are you already good at? If you love landscaping, why not start a landscaping business? If you are good at cleaning homes, your own home, maybe start a cleaning business. Do you know how to play an instrument? You can teach on the side. These are just a couple of ideas to kind of get your brain turning on a business idea that you might not have considered already. For me, I wanted to be a bookkeeper for a really long time. I have over a decade of accounting experience, and I also did bookkeeping as well as worked for many accounting firms. This was obviously a natural fit for me. Ask your family and friends, what am I already good at? What do I already know how to do? Sometimes you would be surprised, things that you already know how to do naturally, that come very natural to you, you might not even see it. You might think, oh, well, everybody can organize their pantry. No, not everybody can. I'm one of those people. I can't do it. I'm not even going to show you what my pantry looks like right now. So really take some time, and it doesn't have to be forever, but take a couple of hours to a day and start thinking about the things that you realistically can do. Not every single thing in the whole world you're going to be able to do or want to do, but start writing down things that sound interesting to you, things that might be fun for you to do. That's something that I did in the beginning, is what sounds fun to me? Bookkeeping. I know that doesn't sound very fun, but hey, it's fun for me, and that's the whole point. You want to do something that you'll consistently do, that you'll look forward to doing. Start with that. If you're really not sure and you have, say, 2 really good ideas, flip a coin. Heads, you'll do landscaping. Tails, you'll do cleaning. You don't have to go with whatever it lands on, but that could be an indicator that will help point you in the right direction. It lands on landscaping, but then you go, cleaning actually sounds more fun. It's just a helpful tip and trick to really gauge what your true interest is. And there's nothing out there that says you have to do what you pick forever. If you start a business and you find out you hate it, fine, but at least you started something, and it's a stepping stone. You already know how to get clients, you'll already know how to get started. It just becomes so easy after you start your first business. So don't feel like you're locked in forever. Just try something, or as my mom likes to say, just give it a whirl. So that being said, take some time to go brainstorm, and then when you have an idea, let me know in the comments below. I'm curious, what would you want to start as a side business today? The next tip that I have is figuring out your schedule. This is probably going to be the number one difficult thing for someone who's working full-time and trying to start a side business, and that is time. But Kristen, I don't have the time. How am I supposed to start a side business if I already don't have time? And I hear you. I understand what you're saying. And here's the thing, nobody has extra time. I feel like between coming home and making dinner and doing the dishes and working full time and needing to get sleep, when are you going to have any extra time? As an auditor, I will tell you, you have more time than you think. And here's the thing, time is going to pass anyway. So why not take a couple of hours for yourselves every day or every weekend to build your empire? Because it's not going to build itself. You do have a certain amount of time, either when you wake up in the morning before you start work, or the time between when you end your job and you go to sleep. There's a certain amount of time. And I would say if you give yourself an audit, a time audit, let's just call it that, and you write down everything you do during the day, from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, you will find little pockets of time where it's just wasted. And I'm not saying that it's not good to constantly be working yourself into the ground. Take a look at the time you do have and allot yourself a certain amount of time to relax, a certain amount of time to self-care, a certain amount of time for mental care, read a book, unwind, and then get yourself into a discipline or a habit where you take a certain amount of time and you work. Because if you don't allocate that time, it will never get done. For scheduling, what is your current schedule? Are you working Monday through Friday from 9 to 5? Are you working on the weekends? Does your schedule vary all the time? I'd say it's easier if you have a fixed schedule, but it's not impossible if you have a different schedule every week. You'll just have to allocate all the other things that you're doing so that you can build in and flex the time and work your side hustle. I've found that if I work up to 12 hours a day, I am beat. I just am not able to do it. I would say the happy medium is working 5 8-hour days or 4 10-hour days at the max. Play around with it. Figure out what works for you. Make it realistic. If you don't normally wake up at 5 a.m. and all of a sudden you're going to work your business from 5 to 7 every day before you start work, I'm not going to doubt you. I don't know you personally, but if you do better working in the evenings, then build that into your schedule. If you wake up in the morning and you're laying in bed for an hour, 2 hours, put that time in there to work on your business. You can find time. And at the end of the day, it's so much more meaningful to work on something that you're building for yourself, that you're building for your family, that you're building to help your community also. And it's better than maybe wasting time playing, those viciously addictive phone games. Have honest, open communication. So there's a lot of communication that has to happen. You have to communicate with your coworkers in your company. You have to communicate with your clients. And you have to communicate with your family all about everything that's going on with your business. If you're planning to work nights and weekends, then tell your clients, hey, I still have a full-time job. I do this as a side business nights and weekends. So when you reach out to me, please leave me a message and I'll call you back within 24 hours. And that sets the expectation, and then be sure to contact them back as soon as you possibly can, because you do want happy clients at the end of the day. Let your partner or your spouse know that you're going to be taking on a bunch of additional work and there's certain things that might fall to the wayside. Ask for help. One of the big reasons why I'm successful in being able to start all these side businesses is that I really do have a supportive spouse. And if you really don't have support, there's so many communities out there. I would encourage you to find and seek out those communities in your niche, in the business that you're starting, and you're going to get a ton of support there getting started. Figure out the bare minimum that you need. You don't have to have a lot of stuff. Use what you have. You don't have to have the latest and greatest technology or a website or tools. You just need the bare minimum. What do you need to do? And then what is the bare minimum to get started? So for example, I got stuck on building a website. I thought I had to have this, and I would tell you that you don't need it. For most of you, you probably don't need it. Like I said, if you're starting a service-based business, yes, it does make you more credible, but the more important thing is getting out there in the community, getting out there, getting your services out there, talking one-on-one to people, getting referrals, things like that. I actually got my first client before my website even went live, and it took me 6 months before I was able to complete it from start to finish. I am not a tech person. Finances, advertising, supplies, technology. What are the minimums? You don't need a ton of stuff to get started, and this is what really held me back, and I don't want you to be held back either. The whole point is getting yourself through this process to a place where you're reasonably confident, and then get started. All you need is yourself. The bonus tip that I have, if you're stuck on advertising, because one of the biggest concerns I think for new entrepreneurs is, how am I going to get clients? And so start with the network that you have. Start with your business associates, start with your family, start with your friends, and just put it out there. Say, hey, I'm starting this business. I'm going into bookkeeping. Let me know if you need someone who knows how to do bookkeeping. Let me know if you know of a entrepreneur in your family that has another business that I can work with. Start a free Facebook page. Start a free social media page. Get onto the Facebook pages that say, I love my city, and whatever city you live in. And when people say, hey, give me a recommendation for a house cleaner, give me a recommendation for a website builder, put your name in there and say, hey, I just started my business. I'm happy to help you. Here's my contact information. I would love to be in touch. Or whatever it is, whatever comes naturally to you and feels good when you're doing your marketing and your messaging. If you're a landscaper or you're a house cleaner, make up flyers and mail them out to the neighborhoods that you want to be in and you want to work in. Go around and talk to people and say, hey, I'm just starting my business. Is this something that you're interested in? Another way to get started very quickly is Go up to someone in your neighborhood. Let's use the landscaping example. So go into a neighborhood that you want to work in and knock on the door on a house that obviously needs landscaping work done and say, hey, I'm willing to do 30 minutes or an hour's worth of work because I'm a new business and I'll do it for free in exchange for a testimonial. Is this something that you can help me with? Do the work, do a really good job, and say, hey, thank you so much. I really appreciate this. You're helping me start my business. I'm a small business. I live in the area. And so there's this camaraderie that you're building. You're building that network. You're building those relationships. And for the most part, people would be so happy to help you. That helps start building your portfolio. Take your before pictures, take your after pictures, document the process, celebrate the process, and that starts your referral and that starts your network. You already have the confidence, you know you can do the work, you have the referral, and you have the testimony. So it's really easy to get started that way and then charge the next time around. Honestly, get your services out there. It really doesn't have to take so much time, and you're only limited by your imagination. Those are the 7 tips on how to start a business while you're working full-time. Is there something in this video that made sense to you, that you liked, or is there something that I missed? Let me know in the comments below. Period. If you aren't sure what you want to do, wait a minute. Yeah, okay. So, for example, let me know if you need any valuable. But what I would say is, thank you so much for your support. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.